Hi, welcome to another episode of the Young and Restless. We opened up with Jack and Diane at the cabin. I skipped. Then we moved over to the Grand Phoenix and we see Phyllis in the lobby. She is drunk out of her mind. She is constantly calling Summer, getting voicemail and leaving her voicemail, reminding her of the time she gave birth to her. Then she tries Danielle and does the same thing. She's not getting through to either of her kids. She is there crying and yelling at the phone, and then we see Michael and Lauren sees her drunk, and Michael says to Lauren that he doesn't want to approach it. But Lauren says we have to do something about it. When Phyllis sees them, she says, "Finally, two people who will not ignore me." Phyllis cries and says that her life is spinning out of control and she can't stop it. Then we go over to the coffee house and we see Sharon is there and Mariah returns and they celebrate Mariah being a new mom. And Mariah tells her about the baby and her experience so far as a new mom. Then we see Adam is watching them from a side and listening. It just seems like this whole baby thing is triggering Adam. Then we see Sally is alone at the hotel room and she calls Nick. And Nick says that he is pretty busy right now. He would call her back. And Sally claims that something is off. And Nick tells her to call the doctor. And he says that he will be there soon. I'm like, Sally, in times like this, Adam is the one you're supposed to be calling, not Nick. Then back at the coffee house, we see Adam walks over to Sharon and Mariah. And she congratulates Mariah on being a new mom. Then we see Nick reaches to Sally and she tells him the doctor says it might be a blood pressure issue and tells her to reduce all form of stress that she's experiencing. Downstairs in the lobby, we see Lauren offers to get Phyllis some food, and Phyllis says no, but Michael offers to go get it anyway. Lauren asks what drove Phyllis to this state, and Phyllis says that her children. Michael calls out Phyllis for interfering in her children's lives. Phyllis believes that she is just trying to help them. Michael and Lauren believes Phyllis is the problem too, and Phyllis gets pissed and says that she no longer wants their advice. The only person she relies on is the drink and herself. Back at the coffee house, Mariah continues to brag about the baby and it's touching Adam. You can see that the whole baby thing is getting to him. Mariah then gets a call and leaves, and Adam says that he should leave too. Sharon asks what's going on, and Adam says nothing. I'm thinking that they should put Sharon and Adam back together, just to trigger Nick. So Sally will learn a lesson. Adam then tells Sharon about the baby and he realizes that Sharon already knew. Back at the Grand Phoenix, Sally apologizes to Nick for just calling him over a headache, and Sally pushes for a little title from Nick and says that it's not like I'm your wife. Nick chose to stay with Sally instead of returning to work. And they decide to find out what has been causing the issue, and we realize that Sally hasn't been eating. Back at the coffee house, Sharon explains to Adam that she was in no place to tell him about it and says it was Sally who told her. Adam is surprised. He thought it was Nick who told Sharon. Adam then tells Sharon that he has given up on Sally because of Nick, and Adam is still stunned by having another baby. He says Nick is in the mix, so it's gonna be making it even worse and tricky. Back at the Grand Phoenix, Michael and Lauren tells Phyllis that they love her and want to help her. They are family to her. Phyllis cusses Michael out for being Diane's friend and hers. She cries and rants and cusses at Michael for allowing Diane back in town. Phyllis cries and wishes Diane dead and says that somebody needs to kill her. Then we see Nick and Sally is there talking, and then we hear a knock on the door and we know it's Adam. Nick gets upset and asks Sally if she called him too. I'm like, really, Nick? He's the father of the child, so whether or not Sally called him, it shouldn't be a problem. But Sally replied and said no, and Nick is mad that Adam shows up unannounced. Nick, you put yourself in that situation. However, Sally goes to answer and asks Adam what is he doing there. Like, how dare you? You're carrying his child. Why not? Adam says he comes into Adam comes in and he sees Nick and says he just wanted to check in. Sally tells him about the headache and says it's all good now. Sally tells Adam that there is no need for him to check in until the baby is born. Really? Back at the coffee house, Mariah questions what Sharon and Adam was discussing. However, Sharon changed the subject to Mariah's baby. Then we go back to the cabin with Diane and Jack, and they get triggered because there was something that fell on the door and rang the doorbell, and they thought it was Jeremy who found them. Back at the Grand Phoenix, Phyllis continues to rant about Diane's death, and Michael warns her to stop making death threats in a public place. Phyllis tells him that she is done with him and leaves. Lauren tells Michael to look after her. Then we see Mariah inform Sharon that they haven't chosen a baby name as yet. Then we see Diane says that she has to do something extreme to drive Jeremy out of town, and Diane wants to frame him again for a bigger crime. Jack doesn't want that. He wants to do the opposite. Back at the Grand Phoenix, Nick says Adam gets on his nerves and tells Adam that he will take care of Sally until the baby gets here. Really, Nick? Adam requests to be present for some of Sally's doctor's appointment, and Sally tells him that she will think about it. Adam then leaves. Sally tells Nick that she wants to be sensitive to Adam's feelings. However, Nick says that he doesn't like it, but they are all in it together. He goes on to rant and tells Sally to be careful of Adam. I'm sick of Nick's attitude when it comes on to this situation, because Nick, you put yourself in the situation. Leave if you don't like it. Sally tries to defend Adam, and Nick can't give a valid reason why he doesn't want Adam around, and tells Sally inviting Adam into the pregnancy is trouble. How dare you? He is the father of the child. Why shouldn't he be a part of it, Nick? If it was the other way around. And Nick says it will be hard for him to let go. Then we see Adam goes back to the coffee house and he rants to Sharon about the situation with Nick. Then we see Jack propose to Diane that they ignore Jeremy and take power of the situation. However, Diane wants to still do something criminal. Jack begs her to leave it alone. He tells Diane how much he is in love and how much they got back together. And then he says, marry me. Jack is such a loser. You see, Michael goes back downstairs and Lauren tells Michael that she is worried about Phyllis and the fact that she's spiraling out of control. And Michael also admits that he's worried too. Then we see Phyllis in her room laying on the couch. And we see she hears Jeremy's voice and jump up. Then we realize that Jeremy is in her room. Thanks for watching. Bye.